Hello, everyone. It's great to be here. Thank you for attending our third annual State of the Economy event. And today we're honored to have a number of special guests in our audience that truly do make our community a great place to live and to work and play and do business. And so at this point, I want to try to recognize the dignitaries that are in the audience. And so if you are an elected official from Midland ISD, would you please stand? Let's see, from the county. I think we have maybe some folks from the county, the city. I know we have folks from the city. Thank you all for being here. Midland Memorial Hospital, Midland College. I think we have some dignitaries from the Health Sciences Center at Texas Tech that are here. Everyone, no one wants to stand up, but I've seen you here. I know y'all are here. And UTPB. Thank you for your humility in service and for you being willing to be here and join us today. I do want to recognize also a good friend of mine, David Turner, the mayor of Odessa, is here. David, where are you? Thank you, David, for being here. Let's give him a round of applause. And with the City Council, thank you guys for standing a moment. I do want to also recognize Charla Hotchkiss. Charla, would you stand? Congratulations on your election. And Jay Ross Lacey was scheduled to be here, but he's ill, so we congratulations to Jay Ross in his absence. I want to take just a minute before we dive into the meat of the program to ask Wes. Wes, I know you don't like being having the spotlight on you, but we do want to. This will be your last State of the Economy address meeting that we will be able to recognize you as mayor. So we wanted you just to please stand, and we want to thank you for the service and what you've done for our community. When we talked about doing the State of the Economy address, in years past we'd brought in speakers from outside. In recent past, we've decided that it would be really interesting to hear from just people within our community that know our community and our economy best, because it's kind of hard to understand what's happening in Midland unless you're here. And last year we felt like it was a resounding success with some of our local businessmen providing their insight into the community. And we thought that with the timing of this and the election that it would be really the most applicable thing for us to do would to ask if our mayor-elect would share with us kind of his vision for the community and the economy, how it relates to our business. And so we're so grateful that Jerry was willing to do that. And after just such a short period past the election. And so we're going to hear from Jerry in just a minute. But before we do that, I wanted to thank a couple of our sponsors. Wouldn't be possible to have this event without these sponsors. First of all, this luncheon is co-hosted by the Midland Development Corporation and the Chamber. And so the Midland Development Corporation, we thank you. Would you guys please stand and let us recognize you? Thank you. Our presenting sponsor for the event is West Texas National Bank. We appreciate West Texas National Bank's involvement in the community, and let's give them an applause for helping us sponsor this event. We also have some very special VIP sponsors, the Midland Reporter Telegram, Pioneer Natural Resources, and Sudden Link Communications. So one last applause for our sponsors. Every year this event has grown, and the capacity of the Midland Center is pretty much stretched to have everyone here, and we really appreciate everyone's willingness to attend and be here. And what we're here today to talk about is our community and to hear from our mayor-elect. Jerry Morales is a native Midlander, as you all know. He's been more than 30 years of leadership and experience in both our public and private sectors in our community. Among his many contributions to our community, Mr. Morales has served on the board of the Midland Development Corporation. He served as president of the Midland Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. He served on the board of our Chamber of Commerce. He's been president of the Permian Basin Restaurant Association. And these are just a few things that he's done as a public servant to our community. And now he's stepping into the mayor's position to even beyond his service as a council member to lead us over the next 3 years. Jerry, we appreciate your willingness to join us today as a keynote speaker, and we're really anxious to hear what you have to say. I'm going to ask you to go ahead and come to the stage and then have the podium, and after you're done, I'll come back, and we've asked members of our chamber to present some questions, and so I'm going to have some moderated questions and answers for you after that.
Very good.
Okay, let's all give Jerry a very strong.
Thank you, Jay. Appreciate it. Let me see if I'm live. Can you hear me? I am live. Well, good afternoon, and thank you for allowing me to be here. First statement that I would like to make, though, is after 3.5 months on the campaign, and after trying to keep up with my business and the family, and then Bobby throwing this on me real quickly, I want to officially say that I have more gray hair than my father does now, so it's official. You can call me Mr. Morales. Again, thank you, Jay, and Bobby, the Midland Chamber of Commerce. Really appreciate you putting on this event and giving me an opportunity to speak. I also want to say thank you to your organization, the Chamber of Commerce, for all of the business that you bring into our community through conventions and tourism, sports. Y'all do a fabulous job of making Midland the star that it is today. So round of applause to you guys and your organization. I'd first like to say also that I'd like to thank everyone for your continued support, especially to my family who are sitting over here. I have my father and mother, my sister Cindy, my son Chris, and of course my beautiful bride, my wife of 24 years, Meredith Morales, for your encouragement during my campaign and for allowing me to do this and be a part of the city and serve. And my wife saying, you've always loved doing this, so continue doing it. Thank you, family, for that. The Midlanders did show up to the polls and to elect me as the next mayor, and I appreciate that, and I'm very thankful. I've received countless letters and phone calls of support, and I thank you for that. It's been overwhelming, very humbling. I've received them since I cannot thank everyone enough for their hard work, and I'm excited as mayor to go to work for this great city. Next, I'd like to recognize a few people whose leadership have already paved the way for our great city. We just saw Mayor Wes Perry, but I'd personally like to say, Mayor Wes Perry, you have just done a phenomenal job in setting an example for our community through your leadership. You are very emotional. I know that you always say, this is my community, this is my home, and I just want to always give back to my community, and I want to thank your family for allowing us, but you've given us a good, great 12 years, and thank you very much, Mayor. And I'm also grateful for my colleagues on City Council. They have done a fabulous job in the last 5 years of getting our community to where we're at. I look forward to working with this council, and I know that we're going to do some great things together. I'd also like to offer a special thanks to Councilman John James and Councilman Michael Troze for their dedicated time to City Council. Midland looks forward to your continued leadership in Midland, and we appreciate all your service. Thank you, Councilman. And then I would also just like to say that I am also very excited and looking forward to working with Charlotte Hotchkiss and J. Ross Lacey. So I was born and raised right here in Midland, my hometown, and it's been exciting. And in my campaign, if you never got to make one of my speeches, and I'm not going to give a campaign speech, I've seen Midland in good times and bad times growing up, and watching my mother and father through their business, seeing the good times and bad times, and then my wife and I having our own business and trying to open a business when things weren't so great. So I understand the business climate I also remember growing up when we did not have the Midland Park Mall, or we didn't have Loop 250, or that fabulous sports complex. Not that it was sad to play at the old Memorial Stadium on grass under spiked dikes. It was fun and it was a good time. But we have come a long way. It's hard to read a top 10 ranking or a nationwide statistic without seeing Midland in there somewhere. State and national news medias like CNN Money are flocking to our city to see just how we do it here in Midland, Texas. Midland was tied for the second fastest growing large city from 2011 to 2012 by the Census Bureau. Midland was recently named the best small city for jobs in 2013 by Forbes magazine. Midland posted the lowest unemployment in the nation for 5 straight months this year. Midland ranked first in Texas and 14th in the nation in concentration of high-income households. And then just yesterday in City Council, Farmers Insurance awarded Midland for being the second most secure small city in the nation, citing its local government, public safety, medical, and education leaders who work hard every day to make our community. I applaud you and this business community and all of our employees at the city, because our city employees are so behind the scene and people don't realize how hard they work to make Midland the star it is. The Midland Chamber of Commerce and the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and all the organizations who have given these rankings, I give you a round of applause for giving us those state rankings, national rankings. And it's exciting coming in as mayor to be able to have that on your resume. So, well, really on Mayor Perry's resume, but I'm going to carry it over. You've probably heard of these already, but that does not really mean much for us. And for what does it mean for us in our economy? How do we become the envy of cities across Texas, across the nation, for more than just our low unemployment or our high income? What will keep us afloat when times aren't good? Maybe I'm an optimist, but I believe Midland has the potential to be a world-class city. I really believe that. I know that we're on the path because of what Mayor Perry and this council and former mayors have done to put us on the world-class city status. I believe Midland has the potential to be a leader in water planning, infrastructure, and quality of life. I want people and businesses to begin moving to Midland for our recreational opportunities and our development-friendly climate. World-class status may seem like a pretty broad vision, so let me break it just down a little bit for you. A world-class city has quality, dependable water supply for future generations. Mayor Perry will leave behind a legacy of water security for Midlanders, and I intend to continue that legacy during my mayoral duties. It's going to be very, very important for me and this council to continue that. But please understand this. We are ahead of the game, way ahead of the game. When you look at other communities and you hear their stories and hear about water being trucked in, we are ahead of the game. This year, we completed the T-Bar Ranch water pipeline, which is ready to provide Midlanders with water for more than 40 years. We then purchased the Clearwater Ranch, which will bring us to a total of 60 years. We are now working with the San Angelo and Abilene as part of the West Texas Water Partnership to find and secure enough water to last us an additional 100 years. We know that without water, we cannot have a city that can have the business-friendly climate. Conservation. During the campaign, I said the story that growing up in Midland, it amazes me that I never heard my folks or the business community talk about conservation, being in the desert, being 300 miles from everywhere, that we never talked about conservation. It's interesting. But I will tell you, conservation will never stop being part of the conversation going forward. That's why we've xeriscaped City Hall, recycled pool water, and invested $37,000 in funding toward the water conservation program to encourage the use of conservation kits. And that's just the beginning. Lastly, we must understand that water will never be cheap again. It is the new blue gold, and we are using technology to reach it. A world-class city has the ease of transportation. Traffic is a sign of our business community growing and getting stronger. It's not a bad thing, it's a great thing. And we're excited that we have traffic issues. But you're looking at me saying, fix it. But I'm very thankful that I can say that we have traffic issues. I understand that it's hard to be thankful sometimes when you sit through 2 red lights at Big Spring Street and Loop 250. I understand. City Council will fix that. We are working on traffic solutions in both the short term and long term. Above all, we are working to eliminate traffic fatalities. I'm tired of that statistic, and we're going to resolve that problem so that our roads are safer for all of our families. In the short term, our focus is getting you to work, because we know that if you're sitting in your car on the roads, your business is not making money. Corporations are losing money because their employees are in the road. We understand that. We're going to work to save you time with traffic control devices, law enforcement initiatives, and public transportation. Midland Police are working hard to crack down on speeding and traffic violations. Citations for speeding on Loop 250 have jumped up 53% this year over last. The council came out of retreat last year saying, we have got to do something about this traffic. We put a charge to the police chief. He did some rescheduling, and now we have seen some results, 53% this year. We will also continue working with TxDOT and Motran to stress the importance of responsible driving in our community. Our new commercial vehicle enforcement unit became fully operational in April of this year, and if you haven't seen this, the chief and I will get in it. We'll be driving around town here very soon, so be prepared. It's a big armored truck. It's very nice. But what this does is it frees up our state troopers to patrol areas outside the city limits. Officers administered 379 warnings and 149 citations in the first 2 months of the program, so that drivers and companies that were not following state regulations. In the long term, we understand that one of our greatest investments as a city must be our roads. We will work with staff to update the current thoroughfare plan. Very outdated. It's not addressing our growth today, the increase in population. We're seeing today. An important component of this will be increasing our capacity. Our traffic is like looking at water running through a pipe. If our traffic volume increases, then we must also increase the size of that pipe, the capacity of our roads, to allow for the same flow. So for instance, this is why we are working in conjunction with TxDOT to expand Fairgrounds Road in the next 5 years to take pressure off Big Spring Street. Once Fairgrounds Road is expanded, we get the oil and gas traffic using that and everyday car use, we'll begin talking about taking 349 north all the way to tie up and continue with the growth going north. We have to have that vision. As your mayor, I will have that vision. Between 2011 and the money we have appropriated for next fiscal year, traffic expenditures other than personnel will have grown by 176%, from almost $3 million to more than $8 million. $3 million was appropriated last year for the city's mill and overlay project, creating smoother surfaces on our major arterials. And this year, we've already appropriated $5 million to continue removing and replacing the top surface of asphalt from curb to curb on some of the most used and traveled roads. In our neighborhoods, we have budgeted $1 million to restore pavement on up to 50 miles of residential streets. I'm here to tell you, roads are very expensive, and they're not going to get any cheaper either. It'll be a struggle, and it'll be creative thinking to come up with the funding to continue improving these roads. We have 2 of the 4 corridor projects that have been funded, though we have addressed all 4. We have taken action to progress and improve our roads. Going into the future as mayor, I'm going to continue to step up these efforts. We have some great plans in place. And I'm often asked, and this was asked a lot during the campaign, how are we spending all of the money that we receive through the sales tax? We can't always expect these sales tax, these funds, to continue at such a high rate. That's why we're spending them on one-time road projects that we truly need. During my time as mayor, you can expect to see Trade Winds Boulevard extended, the first phase of extending and widening Briarwood, and you'll see concrete plans for Mockingbird. These will be great road improvements. We'll see, hopefully, the traffic move from our inner city. We'll get you home safely. Again, we'll get you to your businesses. But we have got to improve, and we've got to move quickly on these corridors. A world-class city has housing for everyone. Let me also be clear about this. The city cannot control your rent. The city will not be getting into the housing business anytime soon. But what we can do is we can facilitate the timely issuance of permits. The rest is up to the private sector. The Mark Paynes, the Mike Blacks, the Lance Fridays of the world, who will put houses on the ground and let us use the free market to do the rest. And let me talk about permits for a moment. The City of Midland has issued permits for more than 635 new homes. That's a 19% increase over the same time period of last year. So we have made progress. We have understood that this is the area. But the private sector will help it if we, the city, the staffing, have everything in place to help them get their developments moving forward. More than 2,000 new lots are currently being developed for single-family residences. With 7 apartment complexes, and up to date we're looking at 11, so we really have 11 under construction that will give us 1,658 units. So we are addressing this housing issue by seeking out to these developers to get these apartments and get these single-family homes built. To help with affordable housing, Council has approved state tax credited housing developments such as Playa del Pueblo for their immediate relief to low-income families. Now, while the numbers provide us our hope, it is important to me as mayor not just to see how many units that we can build, because this has been a very big discussion. And it's very important to me, being from Midland and understanding Midland. I know this is our home to many of us, but it's not to see how many apartments we can build and how many housing developments that we can do, but how many can we do without compromising our standards. That's very important to us, and that's very important to me as mayor. Today and in the future, you deserve to feel proud of the growth that is happening in our community. A world-class city has a vibrant quality of life. The 4B sales tax gave Midland an outstanding sports facility. We saw that leadership under Mayor Bobby Burns. He did a fabulous job, and we saw this community come together and support it, and today we've thoroughly enjoyed that. The sports facility has brought in tax dollars to our community. In 2016, the sports complex can be paid off, and we as a community will have to make a very, very important decision. I will tell you that as mayor, I will be encouraging you to support a new version with new language of the 4B that addresses quality of life issues that will provide better parks and recreation while continue to pay operating and maintenance costs for the sports complex. The continuance of this funding mechanism will be very transformational to this community. I can assure you that. Imagine Midland being a place that people want to move not only to do business, but to raise their families, because we have the best that is right here. We as a city will do everything we can to help our citizens understand the importance of this big decision. We will work hard to make sure that we're very transparent, that the information is in front of you, and if you don't, then we'll continue the process until we all get behind this 4B. A world-class city is development friendly. Development friendly starts with a strong, updated, comprehensive plan. I spoke very much about this comprehensive plan during my campaign because I truly believed in it. Sitting on council 5 years, understanding the growth that is happening in our community, and understanding that sometimes we didn't have all the staff that we needed. Sometimes developers were coming in frustrated because drainage wasn't up to date, or road infrastructure planning wasn't up to date. And so it's important to me, and I will be working very hard with the staff to address a strong, comprehensive plan that includes drainage, utilities, streets, and code updates. Code updates are very important and are ongoing, and when codes get up behind, and I'll use pools for example, our pools haven't been updated codes since 1968, then it becomes very expensive on those pool contractors because then they're having to, over that quick period, come up to date with the codes, and when codes come in, fees come in. So it's very important to me that I understand that you're in the business community trying to keep those fees down. When we do this, we can handle the type of growth that we are seeing today and in the future. A city is only as strong as the infrastructure. Instead of allowing our growth to manage us, we must both manage and embrace our growth. We are already taking important steps in the right direction by conducting drainage and traffic studies as well as code updates. I have a business, a little taco house, very good. I guess I can say that I'm here. And I understand what it means to do business in Midland. I understand what it means to have too many fees and too much regulation. And I don't want that for our business and for our town. That's why it's my philosophy that about less government, minimal taxes, and a greater return on our services that you deserve. We can find ways to cut the red tape while maintaining high quality standards. And in fact, we have already found some ways to ease the process for developers. And the numbers are amazing. The City of Midland has issued permits this calendar year in excess of $735 million. $735 million. We're busy. Last year at this time, we issued just under $300 million in building permits. I know you can feel it out there in the roads. My wife was giving me a hard time about no parking. But I truly believe that we're on the right path to work with the business community to facilitate, not prohibit, development. Managing this type of growth cannot be done alone. That's why we value our partnerships with the Midland Development Corporation. They've done tremendous work over the years, and since this is coming in place. The Midland College, I look forward, and I know this council in previous years we've done great work with Midland College. Whenever we've looked at new industries, they've looked at trying to put in curriculum that addresses our growth or diversification. And let me just say the Midland Development Corporation will continue to do what it was initiated for, and that is to diversify our economy. Although they've done a tremendous job of helping us with this growth through infrastructure. The hospital district, we've seen the benefits of this tremendous bond. We have a beautiful hospital that we're very proud of. TxDOT, we cannot move forward without TxDOT's partnership. TxDOT has got to sit at the table and help us fight to get these dollars. And of course, our MISD, and we know what's in front of us there. I also look forward to partnering with Judge Bradford and our county commissioners to strengthen our ties to provide better service to the residents of Midland. To have a world-class, business-friendly climate, we need, and I mean this very sincerely, we need to have a clean community that reflects the pride that we have in our city. Midland is just not a place to live, it is our home. I will work hard with staff and council to talk about these solutions. I don't have it addressed, but I have heard through the campaign, I had the opportunity to sit with several groups who had wonderful ideas, who were visionaries about cleaning up our community. And I know that we're not proud of it that much today. We have Keep Midland Beautiful. It's 2 people in that staff. It's going to take everybody in this room and everybody in this community to take care of our backyard. But I can tell you as mayor, I will work on the efforts, working with these groups, working with our county, because the county is a part of this, in addressing keeping our city beautiful. We also appreciate the businesses who have come to call Midland home to a large degree. Chevron, Concho, EOG, Fasken, Pioneer, Schlumberger, just to name a few. These companies are all increasing their footprint in Midland. They believe in our growth. They believe in our community. And I love seeing them here. There's a program called Midland First. Midland First was created and backed by the Midland Chamber of Commerce. Midland First has opportunities to do great things in our community. We saw Vision 2020, and our community came out and addressed a lot of great ideas. Midland First kind of takes it a step further. You become together through churches and nonprofits and foundations and community leaders and through our taxing entities. And we address what's very important in our community, whether it be new high schools, whether we have road infrastructure issues, whether it be the college. We will address this through Midland First, M1. I support this new initiative. I think it's very strong. I think that if we get behind it and support this Midland First, we can address one issue at a time, make it a reality, work it together as a community, and put Midland first. There's still a lot of work to be done on it, but it has been very successful, I understand, in other communities, and I have seen the success, and I hope to continue having that success in our wonderful community. As your next mayor, I'm excited about this opportunity. Being from Midland, Midland being my home, having my own business, raising my family here, it really means a lot to me. And I know that applies to you. I've seen young professionals coming into our community, but the way I look at it is we have so much opportunity and we're so blessed. Our oil and gas industry is the leader not only in Texas and the nation, but the world. And we have to embrace that and be prepared to support that and help with it. We need to continue diversifying our economy so that individuals that are in business like myself in the retail continue to have their seats full and the doors open if you're a shop retailer. I have a vision for Midland, and what I said is I want it to be well planned and well developed. I want it to be a community that we're all proud of to call home. I want to make sure that you're getting a good return on your investments, your tax dollars that you put into our community. I'm happy to say we have water today. I'm happy to say that we're addressing the housing. I'm happy to say that we do have the traffic, but we have started addressing that back then. And we're moving forward with great ideas. I'm happy to say that we have 1,000 strong city employees, and I believe in them, and we're going to get them behind us, and we're going to work to make this community even better. I look forward to working with Mayor David Turner in Odessa, looking at a regional approach on water issues, housing, infrastructure. We know that we're better in numbers, and I look forward to our meetings together. And that applies to all the surrounding communities. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart for electing me as your next mayor. I look forward to working hard. I promise you I know how to work hard. I look forward to being out in the community, shaking hands, and meeting each and every one of you. Again, I thank you for voting me, and thank you very much for having me today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let me get my mess out of your way here.
Thank you, Mayor-elect Morales. Let's see, I think I need this now. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm excited. I'm excited to hear your passion. I'm excited to hear your vision for our community. And I want you to know that as the Chamber and the business community, we're behind you. We want to support you in the things that you talked about. It was very apparent to me as I was listening to you speak that you are in touch with the community, because the questions that we asked and the questions that we received, you addressed most of them. You were right on topic with a lot of the questions that we were talking about within the Chamber for this question and answer. So I'm going to give you a chance on some of the things that you talked about to maybe drill a little bit deeper.
I think you don't like me already.
So, you started with water, so
Yes,
let
sir.
me start with water.
Okay.
As you know, we've been through a drought, and I think it's affected the psyche of our community. And I think that we had to go into some severe restrictions with water, and we had to, I think the city actually responded to that amazingly well to curtail the water usage that we had. But now that we have water available to us, as you've mentioned, we still get a lot of questions about, can we use water? Is water available? Do we really have water? And some of the questions that we received were about when you're talking about not only in your 100-year supply, working with regional West Texas partners, but have you also looked into desalination or water reclamation and reuse? And so could you address that?
Sure, thank you. Can I get a drink of this water? What I do understand, and I'll just be upfront, I don't understand desalination completely. Through the process of bringing the T-bar and clear water and being able to sit on that committee, we did have that discussion somewhat. I do know that this will be a very expensive discussion when we do address it, and we will be addressing it during my 3 years on being as a mayor. It is going to be important that we begin those discussions. I think that what I understand from DSAL, that there's opportunities where our oil and gas industry may sit down at the table and participate with us, help us with the understanding of how they could utilize it. How do we share that expense? Again, I open the door that we would love to sit down with Odessa and any other of the communities to address it from a regional standpoint. Here locally, changing it to a reclamation, we are experimenting today, and we already have it implemented, a reclamation plant, smaller project that's at Windlands Park on Wadley that is a kind of taking care of Midland College. So we're pulling off the gray water out of the sewer to the reclamation, and then that's getting cleaned and being irrigated out at Midland College. So we're looking at reclamation on a smaller scale there. It'll give us an opportunity to experience and test that and see how we can address it in Midland, and again open it up on a larger scale. So desal is definitely going to be a very important discussion that we're going to have in Midland. I open the door to anybody who understands it to sit at the table. I know that council is looking forward to talking about it. We've seen Big Spring put in their reclamation and is looking like it's proven successful. I have personally talked to John Grant with CRMWD and asked him how this would be done, and he said the only way you really want to look at this is looking at something similar, maybe like Big Spring, putting it in between Midland and Odessa. So I look forward to it. Again, it's going to be very expensive. Water's going to be very expensive. Let me make also another comment, changing a little bit. We have been doing 2-day watering. We are talking, and we'll begin talking about lifting that up and possibly going to 3 days. It's time to start selling some water. We need to move some water and reduce some of our debt. We have the opportunity. We're blessed. I will say that our parks is a good example of how dry they are. For me, quality of life is very important. So we need to get some water back into our parks and get them green, as you have seen that we've done some improvements in that area. So again, this is going to be a very expensive discussion. I look forward to the doors opening up. I look forward to the oil and gas sector and anybody else who has that experience on desalination. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you. Good. Well, we do appreciate the work that y'all have done with water, and I know it'll continue. Let me shift the something that wasn't mentioned in your speech, but I think was also something that's still very much on everybody's mind, is downtown. I know recently the council voted to approve a term sheet for the development of the Energy Tower at City Center. And I think the questions were kind of twofold. One, why do you think it's important for a city to have a vibrant downtown? And then how does that benefit the overall community when you do those things?
Sure. Well, Energy Tower, and I'll just go straight to Energy Tower, has been a fun subject. It was fun on the campaign trail. But again, you have a private group who's willing to invest the number that's thrown out there, $400 million into our economy, who's willing to put up a structure, who's willing to bring office space and retail and parking. I like to call it the 15-hour day. That if it's all said and done with what's already happening, new apartments, parking garages, we have new infrastructure going in. We're talking about a new another hotel coming in and future apartments. All of this combined together, and we can say Energy Tower, but it's a full package of making downtown vibrant and bringing energy to our community. We've heard over and over that in a lot of communities, your downtown is the heart. Our downtown at one time used to be the heart of Midland. I remember going down there shopping. I remember going down there with my mom and grocery shopping and doing all what we needed to do downtown. And so I'm very encouraged and I'm very supportive of what we're doing downtown. I'm very supportive of getting projects like Energy Tower that are willing to invest and bring jobs and make our downtown vibrant. I know that I've heard through Janor, our development director, that when developers come in, they're like, take me downtown, show me your downtown, and let me see what it looks like. Let me see how you're investing in that area. And so we can't forget it. We're growing to the northwest. We've been growing very rapidly that way. We can't forget that the south and east are right over here. It's 15 to 20 minutes now this way, and it's only 5 to 10. And we have so much opportunity to grow to the east with our housing. If we continue with the expansion of Loop 250 all the way to the east, the economics grow at such a rapid pace that it's incredible, but it's so close to our downtown. So I'm excited that's what's happening downtown. I know our council, and I'm going to continue encouraging our council as mayor, that we continue to look at the long-term, short and long-term for downtown, using our downtown initiatives, our Midland Development Corporation. We have an exciting opportunity to have a 15-hour day. You can go to work, you can bring your family down for dinner, hopefully go to a movie, and then get to go home and relax. But it's going to be a wonderful time, so the future looks bright for downtown, Jay.
Great. Thank you. Let me go to another topic that you touched on. But Midland's been blessed, as you know, with a lot of growth and jobs. And those jobs, a lot of those jobs have been filled with young professionals. In economic development world, the young professionals are kind of the holy grail. That's what everybody in the country wants to get, is those young professionals into their community. And I know in my business, we have a large contingent of that. And talking to them, and talking to, we also know, you're very familiar with our Young Professionals of Midland group. Mm-hmm. It's a vibrant program out of our Chamber of Commerce. And from those young professionals, we hear that more and more they want better parks in Midland. And beyond better parks, they really are interested in hike and bike trails and that sort of thing, that they can enjoy the great weather that we have out here in the outdoors. Where would you like to see the city go with regards to improving our park system, as you've already talked about a little bit, but also implementing more hike and bike trails?
Sure, great question. And I'm glad to hear that. I think that also is a great economic selling point for companies, corporations that are bringing in families, strong school districts, strong colleges, great economics, and then you have your quality of life such as parks. Our park committee has done a fabulous job of bringing in and addressing hike and bike trails. There has been, probably in surveys that I've seen, it's been in the top 3 of how can we improve our hike and bike trails. How can we think about not just the young professionals, and I'm glad to see all these young professionals, but also our mature audience being able to take advantage of them. Well, one, you just heard me, we've got to get our parks greener. They're pretty dry. You don't want to fall down at a park because it's going to hurt. But we're going to get them greener. Our parks department in the last 2 years has put in 11 sets of playground equipments in parks. 11 new playground equipments in 11 parks. Those are updated with the new soft fall down. When you fall and your kid falls, you're going to fall really nicely and you're not going to cry, and you can let them continue playing. They're going to have new playground. If you go to Hogan Park, one of the pieces of equipment that we put in, it allows you to continue going all the way around the piece of equipment without ever having to touch the ground. We're trying to incorporate fun things like that. We're putting in pavilions in some of our parks. Hogan is a great opportunity where that you can take your corporate or your business and have 300 or 400 people under a pavilion and do an outdoor activity, have a small little concert if you like, and have the kids playing at the playground equipment. Hike and bike trails. Parks and Recreation has done a great job of putting in let's look I-20 Wildlife Preserve Park. If you haven't been out there, there's over a mile, 1.7 miles of hike and bike trail through a board. It's fabulous. You've got to go look at it. We have inner trails on our parks. And one of these days, when we get enough funding through grants and get some money set aside, we are going to have this whole hike and bike trail intertwining through the city. Today, our plan calls for us to address in 4 miles where we'll go through Air Park and Midland College. They've been great partners thus far, and we'll have a 4-mile hike and bike trail, probably a bike trail first, through there. And then our long-term goal in my vision is that you see that bike trail going under Wadley and up to Woodlands Park, and then it continues on that trail. Those are the fun, those are the exciting opportunities that we need to bring into our community, because it makes quality of life so much more better in Midland. So pools, we're talking about upgrading our pools. The old, I call it the Alamo pool, that pool, Doug Russell pool. We're looking at about how we can expand that and make it more kid-friendly. You have one end for teenagers and on the other end for the younger children. And so it'll have a lot of the walls that you can climb in and safety and fallout places. So the Parks Department is doing a tremendous job. Now, you heard me talk about 4B. We can really move on our parks and our quality of life if we have new language on the 4B. And that's why it's going to be very important as mayor and as city council and as a city that we address the 4B when it comes up to readdress, that you understand what we're going to be investing in. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, that's good. I think we really have time for about one more.
Okay.
And I appreciate your expansion on these questions. And again, you touched on most of this to begin with, but you know, there's always the concern that we have as business owners, and you mentioned this, of just none of us like taxes, none of us like fees and regulations. But we also understand that we've had a really significant increase in our tax base because of the growth. We've had an increase in our revenues from from the sales tax, and you talked a little bit about that. And we know also that the other entities have benefited from the growth as well. But with that growth comes the challenge of developing more, and those things are expensive. And so, how do you envision us working together as a community, not just with the city, but all of the entities, to really lay out what resources do we have available to us as citizens? Because you know, when we're paying taxes, we don't really care if it's going to the city or if it's going to the school district. It's tax. But so we want to know that the city and the other entities are using those resources that are available to us the wisest and most efficient way possible. Talk to me about how you're going to work through that and not make just the city of Midland a silo, but talk about the whole community.
Okay. You know, it's a great question, and we are very fortunate and blessed that we have tools in place that allow us to continue growing and to handle some of the challenges that we have today. You heard me talk about the 4A sales tax, the Midland Development Corporation. They have helped us fund 2 of the corridor projects that will help alleviate some of the traffic congestion that we have. Again, when I lobbied to get the 4A out there, it was to diversify the economy. We'll continue doing that. But today we have a more dire need. We have got to improve our road infrastructure. And the Midland Development Corporation Board has been very receptive of assisting us in addressing those corridors by helping us with their funds. We hope that they'll continue with that discussion. We will have to talk about additional roads not only to the south and east, but to the north. We'll have to talk about annexing probably more land to the north. I know that that's what I'm looking at as a mayor, and my vision is annexing more land more closer to Nadine and Tom Craddock Highway, because that's where we're going to need to put in infrastructure so that developers can put in their housings. Now, how do we participate with our development group? I think there's going to have to be a discussion about how we share those fees. The city can only handle so much. I'm not in favor of raising any more taxes than anybody else. Can the developers, and this discussion hasn't taken place, but it's going to have to be looked at, is if they're coming to the table and they're going to need to put in 200 or 300 homes or more retail, we need to talk about developer fees. We have to handle more roads. We're going to have to talk about lobbying as a mayor going to Austin to lobby for more tax dollars, or our dollars back. I'm sorry, we're sending all the tax dollars in, but we don't get anything in return. And it upsets me that sitting on some of these boards and working with TxDOT, that we don't get our fair share back. Our oil and gas industry is the leader. They have generated so much income for this state of Texas, but yet we don't get our fair share. So I'm telling you today as mayor that I'll be in Austin fighting hard to get those tax dollars back. We have our sales tax receipts. We've talked about how wonderful they are. We have a very good surplus in our unappropriated funds. We'll look at taking X amount of dollars and using them for one-time projects again. We'll address where the desire, where the need is, where do we grow next. If we can take a couple of million to do and address a new road, then that's what we'll do. But we're very blessed. We're very fortunate. We have tools that are out there that can work in our benefit. And we just have to be smart. We have to strategically think through it. We have to bring you to the table because you are out there working with it. And that's what I'm about. I'm about opening this door. I'm going to go ahead and just close it out. We're done?
Yes, sir.
It's about opening this door and working together. And I'm very excited, again, about these opportunities because we could be sitting behind the dais and not having anything to talk about, or we could have these great challenges. These are great opportunities for Midland. We are the star of Texas. Senator Ted Cruz called me to congratulate me and said, "You guys are the star of Texas. Y'all are the entrepreneurial spirit of Texas." We're going to be a world-class city because you're going to sit at the table, we're going to open the doors, we're going to be very transparent, we're going to share these ideas. And as your next mayor, I look forward to it. You are probably smarter than I am, and that's fine because you put me in this position to be a visionary, a leader. And I'll use your smarts to get us to the next level. But thank you, and I'm excited in closing to, again, be elected as the next mayor. I thank Mayor Perry for all his efforts. I thank you for everything that you've done to get us to this point. Bobby, the Chamber is doing a fabulous job. Rachel with Hispanic Chamber, y'all are doing a great job. Our nonprofits never get enough credit. They are working tirelessly. Our oil and gas industry is always given to the nonprofits, and we're very blessed. Our foundations are strong. We saw the Scarborough Foundation, what they did for the housing. It's those creative ideas and thinking outside the box that's going to make Midland a world-class city, and that's what I'm going to do as your mayor. Thank you very much.